but I really didn't have the time. So here I am today to talk about, yeah, my my elementary school crush gone wrong. Uh, Full disclosure, if she hadn't used this about a week ago to public brought this up publicly to attempt to humiliate me herself, I honestly would not be talking about this story in a public setting. To me, the reality is I seen it on both sides of it, just kids being kids. Me accepting the bullying and taking it to heart the way I did, even though like I understand now I shouldn't have taken it to heart and let it affect me as much as I did. That was just kids being kids. It's normal. Like it's normal to bully. I've had many talks with my brother where we've both apologized and took responsibility for bullying each other over the years. And like, you know, didn't mean anything by it at the time. I didn't really see it as wrong. Like you knew it was wrong. People told you it was wrong, but you really didn't understand that it was wrong. So like I really just seen it as that sort of a deal, just kids being kids. Till Until she decided to randomly bring it up publicly to try to humiliate me. So today, this is me getting into that story. And if you find yourself enjoying today's episode, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more content, and give me a follow on any of my social medias and even my PlayStation network. Just look up Zelmont. It's Zelmont83 on X, but otherwise, look up Zelmont and you'll find me. Zelmont 1 is my PlayStation, and yeah. If you see Zelmont anywhere, it most likely is me. I've never come across another Zelmont to date. And I've been an online gamer since online gaming was a thing. Like, even back in old school MUD days where it was just text based online gaming. I've been online, and I'm the only Zelmont I have ever found. So give me a search, give me a follow, whatever you want. I'll be there. I stream on Twitch, and I upload videos on my YouTube. But yeah, let's get into this. So, really, the story starts in elementary school. It was either grade 3 or grade 4. It was right at the point where dating was starting to be a thing, but it wasn't really a thing yet. Half the people were either dating or interested in dating, and the other half were still ew, boys and girls, ew, icky, right? Like, so like dating was just starting. Um, there was a girl in my class. I didn't really know her, but I thought she was attractive, and I had a bit of a crush on her. And everybody else was like, I was curious about this dating thing, so I went and asked her if she'd go to the movies with me. I really had actually worked myself in because, for as most guys will know, even in today's hookup culture, when it comes to asking out on a date, like making that definitive move of I'm asking you out, there's a lot of pressure on that, and maybe and a lot of it like we put on ourselves, but that's neither here nor there. The point is there's just a lot of pressure in that where a lot of fear of rejection, especially like at those younger years. The older you get, the more open you are, the more you understand that there's plenty of fish in the sea and da 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 da. But the younger you are, the more pressure you feel. But I actually had worked myself out to like, if she says no, it's fine, whatever. Like I did have that, even back then, had that cognitive understanding that rejection is part of the game. And I also understood that this was, not all at this age, not all parents are okay with their girl going out on a date, right? Their daughter going out on a date. So it's, I was fully prepared for rejection. I also like wasn't never at that point in time had a low self esteem in myself. I was the emo, artistic type kid. So like I wasn't popular. I did know some popular. I did have some popular friends, but I wasn't popular myself. So yeah, like I was prepared for a rejection. Um, but I, surprisingly enough, she didn't reject. She actually accepted. Yeah, okay, we'll go. All right, cool. See you there. So later on, go to the movies. I go to the movie. She never does show up. I did go in and watch the movie because, like I say, I was prepared. So even at that point in time, I didn't think anything of it. It was, and plenty of fish in. It was still a plenty of fish in the sea type attitude of like, she doesn't want. She doesn't want to. Maybe her parents said she couldn't. Like maybe maybe she said yes, but when she told her when she asked her parents about going, they said no. Like who knows? Whatever. But I went and enjoyed the movie. I don't even remember what the movie was. I mean, this a long time ago, obviously. I'm talking. This is like 30 years ago. Um, but when I went to school the next day, she was the one who actually made a big deal of like out out in the playground area, making a big deal in front of my nearly my whole class. At the time, like I remember like the thought being like my whole this was being done in front of my whole class and being so embarrassed. Um, but in reality, it wasn't the whole class because like this, like I say, this was out in the playground area, so some of the kids had already gone off and da da da. But it felt like it was the whole. I was being made fun of in front of the whole class over. Um, Now, me being that more emotional kid, also I've come to knowing what I know now, I would not be surprised to find out I am high functioning autistic. Apparently, most people are on the spectrum, and there's certain behavioral quirks that I have and whatnot that are right in line with being autistic, being on that spectrum. I'm obvious. Well, to me, it seems obvious. Maybe to others, not so. I don't know. But if I am, I would be definitely be in the high functioning autistic. But even at that young age, there was lots of. That's part of why I had such self esteem issues. Was that there was just lots of social cues that I legitimately didn't understand, and so like. Whereas other kids were jumping in there and interacting with each other, I would kind of stand back and like watch how they interact with each other to understand how I'm supposed to interact, right? So yeah, like I think I'm like probably high functioning autistic, and just given that I am being that emotional artistic type, I really when I got made fun of, I really took it to heart because this was the first time I asked a girl out, and I really took it to heart, unfortunately, and it affected me pretty well my entire childhood. It wasn't until my early adulthood that I really recognized my own personal value and that this wasn't about me. you know, like there was I didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing for me to be ashamed about in that. If she didn't want to go out, she didn't have to go out. And to then use that to humiliate me, that's just being a bully. You didn't have to do that. You could have said no. That was fine. And that's the thing. Like my issue with it at all was never that she said no. You can go ahead and say no. I understand. Not everybody's for everybody. I've had people interested in me that I have zero interest in, and had to find that easy way to let down. Actually, there was one in particular that I let her down not so easy. So like, I get it. That's not what this was about. What this was about, like I say, is you took that to the next level of specifically bullying. You didn't have to do that, but you did it anyways. um, and so like that affected me for a long time. Then when social media first back when social media first come out, when Facebook was still new, all of us are getting on and da, 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 da. I end up getting a random friend request from said person. Um, when I first got the request, I actually thought that, maybe like because like this was the only interaction me and her ever had. After she made fun of me, like I thought she was a C word and stayed away from her, right? Like, right? Like I had no time of day for her, and then even there, like what I seen from a distance, I thought she was very fake, very narcissistic. I wanted nothing to do with her. I thought just at the time that, like my thoughts of her being fake and two-faced and narcissistic was had a lot to do with my own biases. But over the time, like especially like these latest interactions that kind of brought this whole story up in the first place, is reinforces no, she's definitely a narcissist, and still very much is. Uh, but yeah, when she sent this friend request, so I accepted it. But there's months into this, she hadn't bothered offering an apology for what she did as a kid. There's no reaching out. There's no talking. What little just random online interactions we have, she's clearly we don't see the world from the same place. Like, so the more about this, like I'm like, I don't understand why I have this person on my friends. Like, I don't understand that. Like, the only thing that we have in common, well, we went to school, but the only event there was one that was negative. Like, so I decided to unfriend her. Now, I thought at the time that I would be respectful, and I know I personally, if somebody's unfriending me on Facebook, I would like to act, or on any social media, I actually wouldn't mind knowing why. Um, I do like look to self improvement. Sometimes, I take certain things with a grain of salt, especially when it's in an online environment. But I'd still like to know like, hey, if you feel that far that you need to unfriend me, I'd like to know why. So I was just offering this why, like, look, and it's exactly that. We don't do any of this. Excuse me. We don't have anything in common. We don't have the same. We don't run in the same friend circles. We've never gone to the same parties. Even online here, we seem to be at opposing worldviews. Like, and the only event that actually links us together is actually one that's negative, and you've never even offered up any sort of apology or redemption for. Like, you're not looking for any atonement. And at that point, now hindsight being what it is, I recognize that I shouldn't have done that in the first place. Most people do not think like me. This is part of me thinking that I'm probably high functioning autistic. Is that, yeah, most people don't think like me, and don't want to hear the hard truths kind of deal. They don't want to hear bad things about themselves. A narcissist especially does not want to hear how they were a legitimately horrifyingly bad person in your life, in your past. It's at one point, right? So she immediately went back into bullying and tried threatening me, and using the same event to humiliate me when I was. And I just let it go. Like, she took it the wrong way, and it wasn't what my intention. I'm unfriending her, and it is what it is. And I went on with my life. At one other point, there was somebody who had the same last name as her, and they were saying how they didn't like her and this and that. So I disclosed this one story that I have about her, and it was with the caveat, like, hey, I don't really know her. the only story I have about her is this. But then the other day, I'm doing like what I think is a random, but well, and this finally led into the other day's deal, where this was kind of thrown at me, and yeah, that's the background. Like, it was a traumatic event at the time. It was something I totally got over and totally forgot about. But yeah, I'm totally running out of time, so I am cinching this off. If you found yourself enjoying today's episode, want to hear more personal history kind of stuff like this, let me know. Subscribe for more content, and yeah, till next time. Thanks for watching.